Welcome back, guys. It's Nick with Two Brothers Comics, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 of my favorite things I use in comic collecting. These can be comic tools, comic accessories, all of the above. 5 things that are my absolute favorite, and I included Dustin and Justin on this as well. Our favorite things we like to use to improve our comic collecting. We're going to kick it off with one of my absolute favorite things that for a while didn't get talked about a lot. Now we're starting to see it come to light a little bit more, but it is none other than the BCW comic book store Folio. This thing is wonderful. This is just the basic black one with the insert here. I've been using this thing forever now, and really that's the most damage it has done to it. It's great for cons. It's great for just going to the local comic shop, doing some comic book hunting. This thing comes in handy when it's pouring down rain or when you're throwing comic books in a backpack. This absolutely is one of the best. And I believe Reggie Collects also has something very similar to this. So, I recommend checking out that one too. But this is just the one I've had time and time again, and it has performed so well. So this, without a doubt, deserves a top 5 spot on my favorite things I use to improve my comic book collection. Next on the list, one of the most important things we do is bag and board our comic books. So the bag and board of choice for me and the folks here at Two Brothers Comics, whenever we can get bags and boards in stock, everybody's out of them right now, but it's the Comics Pro Line bag and board. These things are absolutely fantastic. They're not a poly bag, but they're also not a Mylar. They give off a wonderful, beautiful effect, very similar to the Mylar almost. Super affordable, and quite frankly, when we were sent these the first time, I was kind of shocked at first how nice they really were for the price. So number 4 spot goes to the Comics Pro Line bag and boards. Next on the list is going to be something we all try to do, right? We love to show off our comic book collections. There's so many different ways to do it via J-channel, or like I've done in the past, and either made my own shelving or thrown them up with command strips using these slabs. But to be honest with you guys, I've really grown fond of this company called Crafty Comics. They've sent us some stuff to give away, and every time they send stuff over, I just really appreciate the craftsmanship in it. And if you're not familiar with what it is, I've done a couple of videos on them now. I do have 2 on the wall. They have a graded comic book slab, as well as a raw comic book display. And then they also have treasury displays. But essentially what it is this really nice plexiglass and oftentimes UV protected display. You have your inner well here with your screws, just a nice way to display stuff. Oftentimes you can get them with different colors and things like that. You can stain the wood, color the wood, all kinds of stuff, but I think it's such a unique thing. We've all seen, the standard way to display stuff, but Crafty Comics has brought something that's so unique in my mind, and so it's definitely deserving of the top 3 on the list because it is such a beautiful way to, quite frankly, display your slabs. For raw comic books or your treasury sizes, even trading cards and things like that, they do. So definitely give those guys a check because Crafty Comics has something very, very unique. Number 2 on the list, I think this has to be up there with one of the most important things is a very good price guide. Obviously, right now, things are a little bit crazy with prices. Folks are selling stuff for outlandish amounts just because that's the way the market's going, and it's literally changing minute to minute, second by second. But when things kind of settle back down, and even before all of this, one of the most accurate price guides, one of the best comic book databases all the way around was Go Collect. I found that they were generally pretty accurate with all of their prices, at least in a decent range. Their FMV function is wonderful. No price guide's perfect right now in this market especially, but man, they've done such a wonderful job. It's really easy to use, and for my money, Go Collect has been one of the best tools I've been able to use. Now, the last thing on the list, originally whenever I talked to Dustin and Justin about this, what should be on the list, Justin gave us this suggestion that was his absolute number 1. At first I was like, well, maybe, but then the more I thought about it, the more I really appreciated why it is gotta be number 1, I think. CLZ, it is a way to track your comic book collection as a whole. How often have you gone hunting and you start looking through long boxes? Do I have it? Do I not? Once you get into a couple thousand, tens of thousands of comic books, that's the best way that I think anybody's found or developed to really catalog your collection and keep up with what you already have and what you don't. And they're starting to bring in some values, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't. It's okay for the graded comic books and stuff like that, but again, in this market, things are changing so rapidly that no real price guide or things like that is going to be super accurate right now. But in terms of a total catalog of your collection, there's not much better than CLZ. You can scan with your phone. You can do all kinds of easy things. You can even add different covers if they're not in there yet. You can add your own values to them. So it's a really, really great place to catalog your collection. And I think that might be one of the absolute best tools for comic book collection. So guys, let me know what are some of your favorite things when you're on the hunt or just to improve your comic book collection. Obviously there's short boxes and other display methods and other tools and I'm sure other apps, but for us that's kind of what we felt like was our top 5. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and maybe you'll give us a suggestion we've not heard of before. Guys, you're the best part of Two Brothers Comics, and as always, collect your way.